Hey guys, this is Lucid. A new patch rolled a couple days ago, and I'm going to go ahead and share some of it. We're going to skim through parts of it, and I'm kind of just going to focus on the ones which I think are important in terms of the important patches, patch items here. So anyway, starting at the top, we have the earliest time for eruption of the Burning Mountain delayed by a year. Now, this is in reference to Late Age Falegra, and Late Age Falegra has an event that will happen. The earliest it can happen is turn 15, and every turn after turn 15 it becomes more likely to happen. A lot of times it'll happen sometime in year 2. Or, like around turn 20 or something. But basically, what happens is you lose your cap site, you get a different site, which I think has more fire instead of death. Though I could be a little wrong on exactly what gems it has. But most importantly, you get the Falegran Tyrant. Or the Laestrygonian Tyrant, which is one of the best super combatants in the game. And so obviously getting that early is certainly better than getting it later. So this is a pretty big Falegra nerf, because instead of getting it at turn 15 at the earliest now the earliest you can get it is turn 27. So that's a pretty big nerf. What I think that means for the nation is you have to have a really solid non-tyrant plan. It could happen early enough in a game where you could get by where you're really crutching on the tyrants. But now you really have to play with the other units. Because they're coming in late enough, like, if the earliest they're going to come is turn 27, but they're probably going to come around like turn 30 something, then you really have, your first war is going to take place in that time most likely. So you're not going to have tyrants for your first war. So anyway, I think that's pretty important for pretender design, and then, how comfortable you have to be with all the national troops. Coming down, spell AI improvements. Not exactly sure what this is. I don't know if this references the modding stuff down here, which we're going to get to at the end. But yeah. There's also an AI fix here. So I think the combination of these two, the only thing I've noticed is, before, if you were 5 shock resistance or fire resistance, it wouldn't cast resist shock, resist fire, whatever. It's because the AI would be like, oh, you already have some, we don't need to give you more. Now, I'm going to have a series which is going to get uploaded way after this, where I'm complaining furiously about this. Which, fine. That's, I guess I could have known that was in the game. But, anyway, they've mostly fixed that now. So it appears, and I haven't tested it extensively, but I definitely tested it with fire and a couple other ones. But now if you have fire 10 from gear, or flame resistance 10, you can still cast fire resistance, get up to 15. And I assume it works the same with all the other ones, but if this is what they fixed, that's awesome, because 5 resistance isn't really much. So that's really nice. That's a really awesome improvement. The battle performance improvements, I'm not sure what that is. Blood mages, smarter sharing of blood slaves, smarter at sharing blood slaves. I've tried to test this and figure out what it was. I can't figure it out. I was thinking maybe it's gonna, because blood mages can steal blood mages from each other. I was thinking, well, maybe if one needs it for the script and the other one's off script, they won't steal. No, they'll still steal. So I'm not really sure what this is for. I have no idea. It might be that if there's other mages around, they're less likely to burn as many blood slaves. I have no idea. Next, icon for slaver. So these are things like the Micklin slaver. If there's, let's see if we can actually kind of pull it up here. Hopefully we will see it. I haven't actually checked this. Yeah, so here we go. We've got a slaver icon, which is really cool, because a lot of times you'd have to kind of know it. So now you can see this guy's a slaver, which means he can spend a turn to get... is there a value associated with it? No. Yeah. Can spend a turn to get slaves. So that is that. Super cool. Sorting of units and commanders from sides. I try to figure out what this is, but I can't do it. I can't figure out what it is. I don't know how it sorts. I was thinking it's maybe in the F1 menu, but I can't figure this one out. So if you know, leave it in the comments. SolarBrilliance and solar rays can no longer be cast without the presence of the sun. Now, this means two things, and I don't think the community's fully tested this all, and like all the implications we kind of were going through after the patch trying to figure it out. But apparently if you cast Theft of the Sun, which is a Zabalba spell, or Utter Dark, which anybody can cast, which ruins the game, so don't do it. What's SolarBrilliance and Solar Rays will do is they will basically get rid of darkness. Now, if you have either of those spells cast, these won't work. So it's kind of odd, because if those things are cast, the only way, if you're a human nation, which human nations have it rough to start with, the only way they get by is by casting SolarBrilliance. Like, because it's dark, and darkness is a very, very, very strong spell. And if you have non-dark vision troops, and they don't have insane stats, and you try to fight in darkness, if their job is to do anything other than hold the line, and they even kind of suck at holding the line with bad defense, if their job is to do anything other than hold the line, they're going to get wrecked. And your mages are going to have worse precision. It is a big deal having darkness up in a fight. So now the fact that if those spells are up, you can't even do the counter to darkness, it's a really big deal. So I think what it means is if you're playing against Zabalba, you really need to take it down, because you can't be like, okay, well, I'll just do SolarBrilliance for important fights. And then it makes Utter Dark even more cancerous, but I think Utter Dark's already so cancerous that if you can't take Utter Dark down with like a Dispel, then you lose the game. So I'm not sure how impactful it is, but in the few times it is impactful, it's probably pretty impactful. A fix for incorrect temple destroyed message. It used to be if you took over if you sieged a fort, you obviously haven't destroyed the fort. When you destroy the fort, like invade the fort, storm it, you'll destroy the temple that's inside, and you'll get a message saying you destroyed the temple. Well, the in-game will send you a message right now, or before this, saying you destroy the temple when you lay siege to the fort, not when you storm it, which is incorrect because you didn't destroy it. So anyway, they fixed that. New launch option, no GL finish, don't know what that is. Out of time sound warning during network play. This is awesome. I forget all the time, and you have to like warn yourself to like go and look at the clock. So now you can set it. I think. Oh yeah, this is the launch option. I assume they have it set as a default for like 60 seconds. I'll have to tinker around and see. We can probably see. Let's see if we can see. I probably would have to have somebody join it. But anyway, hopefully there's a default in there for 60 seconds. But otherwise you can change it. So that's cool. The way you do this is you just, when you're loading the game in Steam, you just right click on the game and you go to like properties, and then you can go to launch options, and you just type this into the launch options. Improve cheat prevention, that's always nice. Magic Duel now affects one target. This actually is pretty important. So Magic Duel used to be AoE, and a lot of people didn't know it, or were lazy, and so it was always a risk. If you had anything in the same tile with an Astral Mage, it could get nuked. So you were always kind of like trying not to have important things in the same tile as an Astral Mage. Well, now it doesn't do that. Because Magic Duel would not only kill the Astral Mage, it could potentially kill the person in the tile with it. So now it doesn't do that, which is nice. The other thing, and it's related, is that 100 precision spells could miss. In some rare cases, the rare cases were really, if people are at either ends of the battlefield, it could still miss. So now it doesn't, which is nice. So that is a buff to Astral. And it's a buff also to Magic Duel. I guess this is... Honestly, this is just a buff to Astral Nations, really, because... if you have a lot of Astral Mages, you usually want to be careful about who you put in the same square, so now you don't have to worry about it, which is nice. It can make communions and stuff easier. And a lot of the Astral spells are 100 precision, so them never missing anymore is really, really nice. Things like Soul Slant stuff could miss too, not just Magic Duel. Attack rear now behaves better when targeting flying units. I guess if the units were flying away and you jumped to attack rear, you could get there and then they had like left. I don't even know how that was before, but I'm happy to see it's improved. Speed up map editor area editing. I guess this actually is from my video where I was doing it live in a stream. Perhaps they saw that and saw how long it took, but it was really tedious doing it. But I'm really happy that they made that faster, because it is one of the things. It's one of the new features in Dominions 5 is that you have this really cool Dominions border for provinces. But the only problem was to do it. Let's actually see. I wonder how hard it is to do. And then we hit tab. I wonder if is it easier? It's definitely faster. Before, this would be like very laggy. And I would have to like be very slow with the pencil. Now I can just drag it really quickly. That actually helps a lot. So I don't know if they fixed more than just speeding it up, but it is really fast now. And it feels like it gives a little bit less pixely garbage on the edges, but you never know with that. It feels a lot faster. The thing, why the fasterness, like being faster is important for clicking is, if you look here, if I move my mouse really fast, you can see it's like, it's doing circles every like X amount of seconds. So when I go slow, it gives you like a nice smooth line. But when I go fast, it starts splotching. So what you would have to do before was you would have to come in and you'd have to go really slow so that you get like a nice smooth edge. Well, now you can come in and you can be like, okay, well, let's just kind of scoot along. You can't go super fast, but it's way better. So that's nice. I don't know if they improved any of the backend stuff for recognizing borders, but it's possible I didn't do that part completely right when I was doing my map, and it would have saved me a lot of time if I did it better. I did have borders that I loaded in so that it will like look at the borders, but I had some gaps, and that might have caused a lot of my problems. So anyway, that's really cool. So hopefully that will get some of you out there making maps. One of the cool things too is that probably the most legendary of the Dominions map makers, Primus, is back on the scene. He's working on a map for Dominions 5, which is going to be pretty cool. So you should get stoked for that new map. I've already seen he's put some pictures of it as a work in progress up on Discord. So that's going to be really cool to play when it comes out. But hopefully this will have arrived in time to speed up his workflow. But hopefully also it will get some of you out there making maps of your own. Because it gets rid of one of the kind of barriers to doing a map quickly. Okay. So that's really nice. Immobile units can no longer be seduced. That would cause weird results. Apparently this could happen, and it would be a weird result because they can't move. Automatic site searching no longer targets captured capitals. This has been like one of the oldest bugs in the game, where if you had like a monthly casting of Dark Knowledge, which is how you would remote site search for death sites, it would search all sites that hadn't been searched to Death 9. And once it had searched all of them, then it would also search capitals. And you would end up wasting death gems because you can never find anything in a capital because sites don't spawn in capitals. So basically, if you weren't lazy, you would manually site search, which honestly you still should do because certain sites you want to target first. And then if you have a site that's already searched to Death 2, it's probably not worth site searching to Death 9. You're probably just wasting death gems. But anyway, so it's probably still worth doing manually. But at least now it's not doing things that are horrendously inefficient, like site searching capitals. So this is a nice little long-awaited improvement. Scrying sites now have a default range of 6 provinces. So EA Agartha has a site in their capital where you can scry, and I think it used to be like infinite or something. I don't really remember, but anyway, it's now 6. So this was a nerf for them. There's a fix for the arena winner getting an unusable item. I don't actually know how this worked. I have no idea actually, but it was always kind of funky with how if you got an item for a slot you already had, or if you didn't have that item slot, how it would work. And I don't know what they did here. That would be interesting to find out. If you know, leave it in the comments. Innate Spellcaster and Time Stop didn't work properly together. I think the person who reported this was in a game with me, and they were using Maliquies, and yeah, they had their Maliquie do Time Stop, and Maliquies are innate casters. And so, anyway, if you did it, it would hose up the script, and I forget exactly how it hosed it up, but I think what happened is during the time stop, the Maliquie would go off script or something like that. It was some weird, very weird effect you would never expect. So it would be like they would go off script during the time stop and then they would come back on script after it. I'm not even sure. Or the time stop, I don't even know how it would, especially with the higher innate castings, like innate caster 2 or 3, I don't even know how it would work within time stop. But I guess you get, like you could maybe even finish your whole script in a turn or two. That'll be interesting to test to see how it actually works now, but it didn't. Before, you did not want to cast Time Stop with innate casters. Now it works, but exactly how it works, I'm not completely sure. Province owner hiding effect no longer hides from neighboring provinces. I think this is from Fata Morgana, but I'm not completely sure. So now I guess if you have a scout, I don't know. I don't actually know. I guess if there were scouts, they wouldn't be able to see who owns it. I'm not actually sure. I don't really know. That wouldn't be too hard to test. We can test this real quick. We can test this. There's a new nation which is coming. It's MA End, and there's rumors of it. It's not definitely coming, but it's rumored that they will have a dominion which kind of functions a bit like Fata Morgana, where it hides ownership information. I think. I'm not really an expert, and you always risk kind of talking out your ass when you do a YouTube video. So let's just pull this up. And let's have Atlantis cast it. Yeah, global slots we do. Okay, so if we go to Yes, do I have like a Shambler skin or something? No, there's no lab here. Let's make sure we have a Shambler skin or something. So I'm not sure how this works, but we'll figure it out. So we can't see who owns that. Oh, but I think... Okay, I think I know. Uh-oh, they're probably patrolling. They probably caught this guy. They're probably all freaking out while they murder him. That's definitely what happened. There's like 50 debug senseis in that province. We'll pause. Okay, so anyway, I finally got it. I actually had to kind of redo it, but... so this is Atlantis. They own these two provinces. There's a Yissian scout in this one. Yiss owns these two. We have a scout here. We have no dominion, but with our scout, we can see that somebody owns this one. But if we go to Yiss and look at Yiss's turn, Yiss obviously knows they own their own stuff, but they have no idea who owns this one because they don't have a scout here. They're able to see that there's dudes here, but they are hidden by Fata Morgana, and the scout doesn't see it. So that's kind of badass, actually. Yeah. That's a pretty extreme false scout report. Let's have him sit here. I think it shows him nothing. Oh no, now there's a bunch of dudes. Is that yes? Yeah, now they see a ton. Now there's nothing. It's actually really cool. I didn't even know how this worked. So it seems there's like a chance that it shows nothing. And you definitely can't see adjacent provinces, even who owns them. Yeah, so sometimes you see it, but a lot of times you don't. And then when we see it, it's kind of, I think, wrong. Like, how many troops do I have here? That's kind of just a normal scouting report. So that's cool. Let's go ahead and, whoops, hop back to the patch notes. So that is that. That will probably come into effect for the End nation, if rumors are to be believed. Improvement with the 64-bit operating system, which is cool. I need to try that out. I haven't actually tried it. It may give, I'm not sure if it gives issues with battle replay issues, but modding. Now we have some important stuff here. So remember scroll bar position when selecting mods. Nice if you have a long list. Increased maximum number of abilities. Some modders had put so many abilities on units they capped it out. So this is nice. Minor mod-related memory leak fix. Dominions has a few memory leaks in it. I've gotten more crashes lately, I guess actually since using Lucid's Atlas in games. But it started crashing more from memory issues. So anyway, it's nice that this issue... I don't know if they fixed it, but I'm glad they're at least improving the memory leak issues. For those of you who don't know, memory leaks are when the game creates assets but forgets to delete them, and so they end up kind of using more and more memory as the game runs. To fix memory leaks, you just have to remember to delete assets in a program once you create them. We got a few new spell commands. We got AI no cast, AI bad level, AI spell mod, and details. Details will work back to front. Details lets you add the yellow text for spells in the mod. So that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, add yellow text for spells with this mod command that kind of give a description of what it does. Which I'm just so glad they put this in the game in general, and then it's really nice we can mod it now. It would not be horrible to see a mod that went through and put details for the rest of the spells that don't have it. Because almost all the spells could use it. Or like an improved details mod, that would be a really cool mod for somebody in the community to do. Okay, AI spell mod. This basically allows you to increase by a percentage or decrease by a percentage the value rating that a spell has when the AI is looking at should I cast a spell or not. So this basically allows you to make spells get cast more or less often by the game AI. So this is huge. This is going to allow us to really improve spellcasting AI, which I think will make the game a lot more interesting. Then we have AI bad level. What this does is it prevents this, these are mod commands. So if you mod a certain spell to have this, like if you put AI bad level 2, if the caster is level 1, they'll cast it. But if the spellcaster is level 2 or 3 in that school, required for that spell, then they're not going to cast it, because in this case we would have set AI bad level to 2, and what that means is it's a bad level to cast this spell if you're this spell level or higher. So it's a good way, like if you have a spell like Frighten, you never want a Death 4 mage to cast, you could do Frighten. On Frighten spell, you could do AI bad level 4. But really, you don't even want anybody to cast it ever if they have a better thing to cast, so you probably are going to hit it with this instead, if you're doing that mod. And the final one is AI no cast, and this prevents the spell altogether from being cast off script. So that's pretty nice. Yeah. This one I've basically been, I didn't even dream to ask of these, but I've been basically begging for this one. And it is so awesome that they added these. What this is going to allow me to do is to update my no off-script buffing mod, which I've actually done that, and I'm gonna have a video for it probably tomorrow. To be a much more comprehensive mod where it improves spellcasting in general. And it's going to eliminate all off-script buffing, but it's also going to tweak a bunch of these spell parameters so that spells which everybody hates when they're mage casts, those get blocked a lot of the times, and spells which people generally like, those get cast more. I did a big poll on Discord, and we had like a big straw poll where everybody could vote on different spells and add spells that people didn't think of. And then basically I use those results to, and plus kind of my intuition for the game, to put these things in. So anyway, you'll be seeing that coming up. But super duper stoked about this. Event commands, require target min size, require target max size. Basically, some of the modders who do a lot of modding for the game have a pretty direct line to the devs, and these were ones they requested. So this is like Aether Nomad and Red Robin stuff. Unit and item commands, underwater regen. People basically wanted to nerf water elementals, so I think this is what they needed a command to do that. Item commands, min size, max size, and then scry range. So anyway, that's the patch update. Some kind of significant things that affect the base game. So if you didn't know what was in the patch, it's probably good you saw this video and checked it out. Anyway, guys, take care. See you next time.